everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, it sure has been a while since we've said that. In fact, almost 6 months since we've put out our last YouTube video.
You guys, it has been a fantastic summer. I think Kevin and I have both agreed that this past summer was probably the best summer that we've ever had, especially since we've been married. It was amazing, but we thought that now that summer is over, we're definitely into fall, that we would just kind of pop in here, say hello, and just kind of give you some updates, like what we've been doing and how things are going.
As many of you know, we announced in May that we were taking some time off from YouTube, and that really hasn't changed. Even though we're putting out this video today, it doesn't mean that we're going to be back on a regular basis, but we did think it would be fun to pop in and give you guys an update of all the different things that have happened over the summer. Starting with some really not so fun things that happened at the very beginning of summer and kind of dispersed throughout the summer. Now, again, like Sarah said, it was a fantastic summer. So even though some of the things I'm about to say might sound not so fun, we didn't let it get in the way of us having a great summer.
No.
So you guys remember in May, we put out a video saying we were going to take some time off. Well, the very first day after that, both of our vehicles got destroyed in a hailstorm. We had huge hail, the biggest hail we've seen since we've lived here in Missouri.
Right. Well, to make a long story short, we both took our vehicles into town because Kevin needed new tires. When we pulled up to pick up the truck after he had the new tires, a huge storm just blew in really quickly, and it, for 10 minutes, dropped like hail that big.
Right, golf ball size. And it ended up actually totaling one of our vehicles, like the insurance company considered it completely totaled, and our other truck, it ended up having like $6,000 or $7,000 worth of damage to. So it was a very fast but very intense storm. And man, it just came out of nowhere. So that was our first day after announcing that we weren't going to be doing YouTube anymore. And then about 2 weeks after that, we actually decided we were going to go fishing one day, and we were getting ready to get everything ready to go. And I was taking the trailer ball off my truck, and it kind of got stuck, so I pulled the trailer ball really hard, and it came flying out of the truck, and it smashed my thumb against the end of my trailer, and I ended up breaking my thumb on my left hand, which is my dominant hand. A pretty bad break, honestly, and I ended up having to have a cast on my left hand, again, my dominant hand, which made me pretty useless. For almost 2 months, I had to have my thumb completely mobilized on my left hand.
And then, just before Kevin was released from the doctor from the broken thumb thing, he hurt his back.
Right. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I did, but my back was so sore, and I waited a couple days, and it didn't get better. In fact, it was getting worse. So I went to the doctor, and they sent me for an MRI, and I actually had a herniated and ruptured disc. Right, the lowest vertebrae in my back was ruptured, and so I had to be off my feet for another few weeks because of that. I've since really, been doing a lot of exercises to build that back up, and it's doing great. My thumb is healed up, my back is healed up. But you guys, it was an interesting summer. I think it was God's way of telling us, you know what, you wanted to slow down and you wanted to not work so hard. I'm going to make all the reasons in the world why you can't do that.
So that really was the beginning of our fishing season.
Right.
We told you all in our last video how much we love fishing. We both love it. And that was one of the things that we were going to concentrate on doing together over the summer. So that made fishing quite interesting for the first month or so.
Yeah, it did make it a little bit more difficult, but again, once I got used to having that cast on my thumb, I could still use all my other fingers. I was able to hold a fillet knife. I was able to clean fish. I was able to cast. I mean, it was no big deal once I got used to it, but it did definitely slow things down there for a little while.
Now, we do want to tell you guys that really one of the most fantastic parts of our last 6 months was the fishing. We just had the most incredible time.
Right.
It was so relaxing. It was productive. We did catch fish. We spent so much time on the lake, and we just really enjoyed just the elements of nature that were out there with us. It was just really a special, special time for us.
Yeah, we've actually owned a boat for 5 or 6 years
Mm-hmm.
now, and to be honest, we've used it like one day a summer every year that we've owned it.
Right.
Until this year. We've used it more this year than we have in the entire time that we've had it, and it has really been a great time just being out on the water. We've caught a lot of crappie, we caught a lot of white bass, a lot of catfish, which are my favorite to catch. We caught walleye. I mean, just pretty much everything that Missouri has to offer.
Right.
We caught some of it this summer.
I remember in some of our live streams before we took our break, we were joking with each other and with you all that we were terrible at fishing, especially on
Right.
the lake that we were going to. We just were having times where we were barely catching anything at all. And
Right.
so we actually made a point at learning the lake, learning how to catch the fish that we wanted to catch in that environment. And you know what? I think that we were pretty successful. I think by the end, we were doing a pretty good job.
Right. Yeah. We really did. We went back to the same lake every time we went fishing, so we could really learn that one lake. And it was that was a good move, I think, because
Yep.
now I feel like we can go there and we know our spots, we know where we can catch fish, and I think we could keep up with just about anybody on the lake.
Absolutely. Now, in order for us to really be able to have the time and freedom to go fishing, there were some changes that we needed to do around our homestead. So we wanted to share some of those changes with you, and you might be a little bit surprised about some things.
Yeah, I'll say this. Over the course of our career as homesteaders, there were times when we actually almost joked or almost, I don't know, I don't want to say made fun of, but like we were a little cocky about the fact that we don't ever need time off. Like, we are just so happy here homesteading, which is still true.
Right.
But so happy doing all of the work that was just like having time off. Like, we didn't need time away. And the truth is, after about a decade of never leaving the homestead, or, within reason, we go to church, we go to town, but like never taking a vacation, never going anywhere to have fun, I realized that really wasn't true.
Right.
Everybody should have time away. Everybody needs a break from the work, and everybody deserves to have some fun and not just work all the time. So our goal this summer was that we wanted to be able to leave every once in a
Right.
while, and we wanted to be able to have things on the homestead running efficiently while we were gone. So the name of the game this summer for us was automation and simplification.
Right. In order to do that, though, first we had to downsize.
Right.
In the areas that are the most time intensive. And really, that is the care of the animals.
Right.
We needed to downsize in the animal department in order to make things run more smoothly the times that we weren't here.
Right. Now, we still have the same goals that we've always had of raising most of our own food, and we certainly did not want that to change. But now that we're empty nesters and both of our kids are out of the house, those needs have changed,
Right.
and we didn't feel like we had made the appropriate changes along the way to kind of be more in line with where we're currently at in life.
Right. So we have downsized the number of animals and even the types of animals that
Right.
we have here on the homestead.
The first change that we made was we realized we had way too many animals producing eggs.
Right.
So we decided to get rid of our ducks. We've had ducks for a long time. We've taken some breaks along the years, but for the most part, we've had ducks for almost 15 years. We mainly had them for eggs, but we realized that now that it's the two of us, we really don't need 3 or 4 dozen eggs per day.
Right.
So when we were talking to a family at our church who just happens to have alpha-gal disease in their family, which is syndrome, which is a tick-borne syndrome where you become allergic to mammalian meat and mammalian products, we realized that they could really benefit from having the ducks. Not only so that they could have more eggs on their homestead, but so that they can raise some up to eat the meat, because
Right.
duck is a good red meat alternative. And so they were very happy to get the ducks.
Right. Another change that we made is, and it will probably seem a little counterproductive to our goals, but we decided to add another breed of geese on our homestead. We wanted to have geese that were easily sexed, the kinds that we have right now, the American buff. You can't tell male from female even when they're adults.
Right.
We decided to add another breed of geese, and we did that, and they are the pilgrim geese.
Right. Pilgrim geese are something that I've been thinking about actually for several years because they are sex-linked, which means the day that they hatch, you can tell males from females. And that's important because we may want to keep extra females so we can have more in the spring. But like Sarah said, with the ones we currently have, you never know. You might have 10 babies born and you have no idea how many males or females, so you could end up with just 10 males.
Right.
So we do still have the American buff geese, but now we've added the pilgrim geese so that in the spring we can hatch a lot of geese out.
And the end result, or the end hope, is that if the pilgrim geese, we love them a lot, then we will only have that breed on the homestead. We can transition away from the American buff geese and just keep those, and that'll satisfy kind of all of our goals.
Right. And really the reason we want geese is for a lot of the same reasons that we wanted ducks in the first place, is because the meat, goose meat, is a very good red meat alternative. So like if you do end up with something like alpha-gal, which actually my mom has now, so she can't eat beef or pork or lamb or anything like that, goose is a good red meat alternative. But the geese don't lay eggs all year round like the ducks did. So we're not getting eggs all year round.
Right.
Geese only lay eggs in the spring when they want to hatch out some babies.
Right. So that was an addition, but hopefully in the future we'll just have that one breed.
Right.
Now there are a couple changes that we made on the homestead that I think you guys might be really surprised by. And the first one is I made the really hard decision to sell our dairy cow, Babe. You all know how much I loved her and how much I really enjoyed having dairy animals on the homestead. But now that we are empty nesters, there's just the two of us, one of the main reasons we decided to sell her is we just don't need that much milk anymore.
Right.
We don't need that much butter, that much cream, that much cheese, and all of those kinds of things. And so just quantity-wise, we didn't need a milk cow anymore.
The other thing is with a dairy cow, it really does tie you down.
For sure.
And since one of our goals was to have a little more freedom this year, continuing to have a cow that we needed to milk on a regular basis just didn't align with those goals anymore, especially since we have our friends Rich and Shelley, who sell raw dairy, and we can buy raw dairy from them whenever we need it.
Right.
So it's not like we need to change the way we're eating or what we're consuming. We just can buy milk from them instead of producing it ourselves.
And in the end, it's much more cost effective for us this way to just buy the small amount of milk that we need. We'll be saving a ton of money actually doing it that way rather than buying feed for her and the upkeep and everything for her year round. So we did find an amazing family within Missouri to buy her, and she is living her best life there.
Right. Another pretty significant change that we made after we got rid of the ducks is we have decided to do away with Wattlesville. Wattlesville was a part of our homestead that we had created really for kind of a multi-species bird area. We showed you guys that a lot on YouTube. But we just decided that really we needed some of that space back. Not only because we now have less animals, but because originally that was part of our hay field, and we really would like some of that extra space back to get more hay. So I think it's going to be a good thing. So we're over the winter, one of our projects is to take down all of that fencing. We've already moved those hoop coops and put them in different areas so that all of the animals now are in our chicken moat area. And actually, we raised all of our hoop coops up off the ground with platforms. Because you may remember last spring, we had a problem with skunks reaching under and grabbing goose eggs and ripping them out from underneath the hoop coops. That's no longer going to be a problem. So all of our hoop coops have been moved, and Wattlesville is officially a ghost town.
So those are the ways that we've basically downsized, but there are many ways that you have automated what's left, the
Right.
existing things. So tell them how you and what all you have automated to make it possible for us to leave the homestead for a short amount of time.
Sure. So the biggest thing I think this summer that we did first was we automated the watering systems on our garden and our greenhouse. So everything is now on a timer. That means I had to separate the watering system in a few different zones so that the timer had enough pressure to feed everything. So our garden waters now on 3 different zones, but it's completely automatic. We don't need to be around to do it every day, which has been a huge time saver. And same with the greenhouse. The greenhouse now waters completely automatically, and we don't need to be here to water the greenhouse every day either. And that has really freed up a lot of time. The other thing that we did is we installed automatic solar-powered doors on all of the hoop coops. I'll actually be undoing those for the winter because I'm a little afraid here in Missouri where we get so much freezing rain in the winter that they're not going to do well over winter. But over summer, they were a real blessing to have because we could leave for a day. Sometimes we would even spend the night somewhere and come back the next day and know that our animals were, being taken care of, basically, or being safe overnight because those doors were shutting and opening while we were gone.
We were also using automatic feeders and automatic waterers for all of our birds.
Right.
We have shown you guys how we've done that in the past using, floats with the water and the 5-gallon buckets with, holes in them for the feeders and stuff like that.
Right.
We've done various videos on that throughout the years.
Right.
So that allowed us also to be away a little bit more easily. Now, we haven't talked at all about our beef cow herd.
Right.
And they are really doing great.
Right.
We ended up having a total of 13 calves this year, which was great. And surprisingly, 11 of them were heifers.
Right. Which is amazing because we actually wanted to grow our herd of cows. And we had said, well, we'll hold back all of the heifers for the next couple years because we want at least 10 more heifers. Well, we didn't think we would ever get all of that we needed within 1 year, but the Lord blessed us with 11 heifers this year, so we have officially grown our herd to the size that we want all in 1 year.
Yep. So they're all doing great. We've been rotating them from, paddock to paddock. We have not needed to start feeding hay yet. You can see hay bales behind us. We still are producing enough grass for them, and we hope to do that for maybe another month. That would be great.
Right. In fact, one thing we didn't talk about getting rid of our dairy cow is another thing that went into our decision of getting rid of the dairy cow was that we always had to have one paddock set aside just for our dairy cow because she wasn't part of our other herd of cows, which means our rotation, because we do rotational grazing, always had to involve her kind of moving somewhere else temporarily so we could rotate the cows around because basically our paddocks go in a big circle around our farm. And so she was always kind of in the way, not really, but like we had to move her out of the way so that the rest of the cows could move around. Now by having her gone, all of the paddocks are available for our beef cows and we can make that rotation a lot smoother.
Another thing on that same line is that because she always basically had her own pasture or paddock, that area never got a rest.
Right.
Even though she didn't overgraze anything because she had more grass than she needed, that area just never got a rest. It always had a cow or multiple cows tromping on it, eating and pooping, and the fertilizer is great, but the land just needs a rest.
Right.
And so now we're able to do that.
Right. But not everything went 100% as planned with the beef cows this summer. Even though we had 13 calves, 11 of which were heifers, all but I think 1 or 2 of our calves this year got pink eye. Pink eye isn't a huge problem in beef cattle. I mean, normally it doesn't cause long-term problems, but it can cause blindness if it's very severe, which we did have one calf who did get it pretty severe, and I think she is going to be blind in one eye. Everybody else has gotten over it, but every other, or just about every other calf producer that we've talked to in our area this year also had just a terrible season with pink eye. So let us know if you're in this area. Did you have a lot more pink eye in your calves this year? I don't know if it's just because the flies were extra bad or what it was, but like I said, I think all but 1 or 2 of our calves ended up with pink eye this year, and we've never had pink eye
Nope.
before.
So it wasn't all roses, even though we tried our hardest to
Right.
make everything go perfectly. We did have that as a pretty major snafu, but like Kevin said, it has all resolved now.
Right. So those are the updates of what's been going on here at Living Traditions Homestead. We're excited actually to move into fall and winter now with, honestly, not much of a plan of
Right.
what's going to happen. This is going to be the first, really, I think, fall and winter where we can take a deep breath and just kind of relax a little bit.
Right. We have absolutely nothing planned other than Kevin can hunt
Right.
whenever he wants to hunt.
Right.
He doesn't have to worry about timing or anything. He can just go out there and do his thing.
Right.
And I've got plenty to do with, preserving the harvest that we've produced over the summer that's waiting for me in the freezers.
Right. I think the only project that we have planned is to finish taking down Wattlesville over the winter, so
Yep.
that hopefully by next spring that can be part of the hayfield again. But yeah, I plan on doing a lot of hunting this winter. In fact, when we finish up this video today, it's a gorgeous day. I'm going to go sit in my tree stand for a little while with my crossbow and see if I can get a deer for somebody at church.
So you guys, we're happy to see you again. We'll probably pop in here and there, but we don't really have any plans to come back on a serious schedule.
Right.
But we're still here doing things that we love, and we are so happy that you stopped by to see what's been going on around here on the homestead.
One thing we didn't talk about, and I know a lot of you are going to mention, is that it looks like Kevin freed up a lot of time by not getting a haircut. And you're right, I haven't gotten a haircut since we quit YouTube. When we got married, my hair was almost as long as Sarah's. I'm not sure I'm going to let it get that long again, but you know what? I'm kind of reliving my youth just a little bit,
Yep.
letting it grow back out and being a mountain man here for a little bit.
And I think it's kind of fun.
Yeah, Sarah likes it, and that's all that really matters. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed having a bit of an update. Let us know what's been going on with all of you. We do miss talking to you guys. We miss sharing our lives with you, but it really has been nice to just slow down some and really be able to enjoy some of the hard work that we've done over the last 10 years.
So you guys, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.